Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 54 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series, where today I would like to get ore processing going, courtesy of Mekanism. So the plan is thus. I've mapped out what ores need to go in what order to do things, right? So let's review, for those of you who may be new, or like me, forgot what machines are needed and what things have to happen to get the best version of ore processing from Mekanism. So Mekanism has like 5 different like tiers of ore processing, and they kind of build on each other. So if you wanted to start super small with Mekanism, you could just like take 3 raw iron and turn it into 4 iron dust, and that's going to give you like the most basic form of ore processing, and that's pretty straightforward, right? So you'll get 1.3 times the ore, which is pretty standard for a basic ore processing, right? Now, if you wanted to instead, you could do things a little bit clearer. So you could get iron clumps, and to do that, you take your raw iron, which is here. And you add oxygen to it in a purification chamber, and you'll get 2 iron clumps from that. And those 2 iron clumps can be crushed down into dirty iron dust and then refined into iron dust, and now you've basically got 2 times your ore processing, right? So instead of 1.3x, we're getting 2x. That's the next tier. You can also get iron shards, which is in a chemical injection chamber. You take your raw iron, 3 of them turn into 8. So that's a little bit more than double, right? That's 2.5 times. Am I right about that? And those 8 can then be purified in the purification chamber with oxygen, and then crushed in the crusher, and then purified in the enrichment chamber. And that's going to be 2.5 times, right? So that process is 2.5 times, right? So it's 1.3, 2, and then 2.5. Alternatively, you can get iron crystals, I think, right? That's iron shards. That's that one. Iron crystals. So you can get clean iron slurry, and then that's dirty iron slurry. This is the one we're going to do. That's raw iron. Plus sulfuric acid will get you 2,000 millibuckets of that. And then it's 1-to-1, so that's 2,000 millibuckets of that. And 200 millibuckets will yield an iron crystal, right? So for every 3 iron ore, we're going to wind up getting 10 iron crystals. Is that cool? And then we can process down the line. Now, I feel like there should be one more way to go. Let me double check that. Nope, I was right. That's it. I knew there were 5 tiers of it. I forgot the most basic tier, which is you can literally just smelt raw iron with obviously Mekanism or any other smelter. So you can just energize smelt it, right? So that's the first tier. That obviously we're not really ore processing, but yeah, right. So that's pretty straightforward. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to work towards this shebang, right? So I'm going to start on this end and work our way up. So we'll start with the point where we get it to do the 1.3-ish, right? And then we'll go from there. And I want to do it all inside a hyperbox. So my plan is this. I want to have like right here this cool little hyperbox. And we're just going to literally pipe in items to the hyperbox. They will get processed, and then we will pipe out the processed ore, right? We could throw an ender chest in there, but I kind of like, in my brain, I like the concept of like literally just a single block where raw ore goes in and the whatever 3 to 10 output comes out. That's what, 3.3? Is that the output? Yeah, so a little bit more than ore tripling. Is what's going to come out of that process. So that sounds fun to me. So we're going to make literally a hyperbox just for that purpose and throw it down here. Hello, hyperbox. And you're going to be ore processing. Save and enter. Hooray! Now we have an ore processing dimension. How cool is that? And we can just pop in there whenever we want. So on this side, the green, this dude, right, we will have a chest whose job it will be to receive items, right? And all the ore is going to go in there. Boop. Okay. And then on this side, the black and whitish side, which is this guy, as you would expect, it is the opposite side of that. I just want to make sure. You never know. That's going to be where the items go and land when they're done, and then we'll be able to import bus them back into the AE system. Does that sound like a plan? And then in here, we'll have all our stuff. What I'm thinking is let's build somewhat of a floor so that we can have a place that will be a subfloor. Because I suspect there's going to need to be some underground wiring and cabling. So if I start building on the bedrock, then we're not going to have any room underneath it to put things. So let's build like a nice little floor, as it were, so that we can have a place to put things, right? So I'm just going to pop this dude down here, and then we can, let's horizontal wall this, max that size out. Does that seem cool? Yes, it seems cool, except that we ran out of stuff. So undo that real quick, and let's get more. Chisel, chisel, cobblestone, cobblestone. And is this what I've been using? Is this it? Small connecting... Dented cobblestone is what it's called. Dented cobblestone. Where's dented? Is that this one? This one? Dented cobblestone. Connecting. Yes. Cool. Okay. And then try that again. And again, I don't care too much. About here seems good. Beautiful. That works. That works. And then I'll just stick a hole in the corner to fall down if I want to get to the basement. Sweet. And then just to make it look a little bit nicer in here, a little less dark and gloomy, we'll stick that guy. Cool. All right, so you go away, you have all this stuff, and then you have that, and we're cool, right? And then we can run all our cabling and wiring underneath, and we'll have our whole production line up here. Does that sound like a plan? I hope so, because that's what we're doing. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. The red side. Where's the red side? That's the top. Okay, I like that. I'm cool with that. Okay, so clicking onto the top will put me right here. And then I'm thinking we have like a row of machines that will all process in order, right? So we'll export from the chest, we'll put it in the machine, and then over to here, okay? And then maybe behind those machines, we'll have a set of machines that will make all the prerequisite stuff, right? So like, this part's easy, right? Because there is no prerequisite, right? But here is the first one that needs prerequisite. We need something to make oxygen for us. We're also going to need something to make hydrogen chloride. We're also going to need something to make, I think it's just sulfuric acid is the only thing we need, right? And for that, there's a bit of involvement, right? There's water and sulfur trioxide, and sulfur trioxide is oxygen plus sulfur dioxide, and sulfur dioxide comes from sulfur dust. Cool. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. Speaking of sulfur dust, do we have some of that? Yeah, we have a bit. We have a couple sulfur dusts. We'll have to figure out like where that's coming from. I assume there's some kind of ore underground. Yeah, there you go. World Gen. Hooray. World Gen ore. And then as we get further into things, we might decide that we need like way more of a certain resource. We can start getting to bees maybe. That could be fun. But we'll get to that point when we get to that point. All right, so first things first, let's make this super easy. To get iron dust from this process, we're going to need an enrichment chamber, right? Easy peasy. And we'll speed all this up with like rapid stuff in a bit, but it should be auto-craftable from here. And it should be pretty quick to auto-craft. There we go. Yep, because I put a lot of speed upgrades into everything. So we'll start with you, right? So that's done, right? Easy peasy. If we had raw iron, it would just go right in there. And we'll get power going into this guy as well, I guess, now. Couldn't hurt to start. And then we can just flux networks our way into power gen, right? And we're gonna need a bunch of stuff to be powered. There we go. Yoinks. Sweet. Okay. So now you're happily getting power. All right, next up, so we're going to need a crusher for turning iron clumps into this thing. So let's control click that dude, and then lava times 2. 1, 2. I love that. How great is that, right? So I'm actually thinking we kind of want to reverse this, right? I actually do want to reverse this, right? We want the enrichment chamber to be the last thing that happens. And then the crusher to be the second last, right? So there you go. And then iron clump will be purification chamber. That's going to go here. Iron shard will be chemical injection. That's going to go here. Okay. Iron crystal will be crystallization. That'll go here. And then chemical washer can go here. And chemical dissolution chamber can go here. So yeah, I mapped out the right number of things. Perfect. So that works, right? So now iron clump is purification chamber. So let's get one of those up and running. I think that's pretty straightforward since I have everything on autocraft already. So that looks good to me. Beautiful. Okay. So at this point, right, with the purification chamber, we'd be able to, what is it, like, there's like raw iron, there we go, like raw, this is ore doubling, right? So if we just stopped right here and set up the purification chamber with some oxygen, we'd be ore doubling, and that's it. We could stop there. You could just ore double and be happy. I want to ore triple. I want the whole production line. So before we move into the rest of the machines, let's get what we need to get for ore doubling, which is going to be oxygen, right? So oxygen from Mekanism, unless things have changed, comes from the electrolytic separator. And this guy basically just takes any form of water, right? So a lot of things are ore dictionaried with water, but it's water. Water goes in, hydrogen and oxygen come out. That's all there is to an electrolytic separator. It's really quite easy. Now you might have some, actually you have a lot of things that you can make. Sweet, electrolytic separator seems pretty easy to do. Awesome. There you go. So should we give this thing like a little bit of a berth, or are we cool to just like plug right into the back? Maybe just plug right into the back. Like, who cares kind of deal. And then if we need to give it more space, we can give it more space. But I think that'll be fine, right? So we're going to want water coming in here. And for that, right, so what it's going to do is it's going to have hydrogen on the left. I'm going to have you... Am I going to need that hydrogen for anything? I don't know. We'll see. What I'll do is I will get a gas tank from here. And you know what? I'm pretty sure we need that oxygen for something else in this production line, I want to say. Doesn't hydrogen chloride... That needs hydrogen and chlorine. And chlorine's going to be a thing, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to need brine. Okay, so we're going to need brine towers in this place. That's good to know. That is good to know. That's fair. If I have to move everything, I'll move everything. I might wind up moving it a little further back to make more room back there for brine towers, but yeah, we'll figure it out. I feel like oxygen was needed for something, wasn't it? Didn't I need oxygen to make sulfur trioxide? Yes. All right, so I do want to give this a little bit of a berth so that I can say, let's put an oxygen tank here, okay? And then another chemical tank here for hydrogen. Is that cool? And if we wanted to make this look a little bit nicer, I could do. Okay. And then we could have... Cool. I want you on build to me mode. All right, let's get water flowing in here. We know we're probably going to need water in a few spots, and I'm going to use laser IO for this. So let me get a few more laser IOs going ready. Oh, we're low on... Can you get that many? I guess so. Cool. We should get more iron. Well, that's what we're working on, is doing more of this, right? So this dude's side config. For items, I don't care about because no items are going to happen. For gases, blue will be hydrogen, cyan will be oxygen. Okay. And then for fluids, you can just input on all the sides. It doesn't matter. So that's easy peasy. Let's have on the down here will be... There you are. An extract, but I'm going to make it blue for water, right? So channel 11. That makes sense to me. And we'll start with 1,000 buckets a second, and or 1,000 millibuckets a second, and if that's not enough, then we'll deal with that. And I'm assuming that there's going to be other things in this environment that need water, so we'll deal with that as the time comes, right? So you should be actually working right now. Did I do something wrong here? Oh, you know what? On the down, it looks like you're disabled. Redstone ignored. Okay, yep, extract. Redstone channel 0. Oh, I forgot to set you to blue. Now you should be getting water. Hooray! And I will tell you that I have never liked the Mekanism electrolytic separator sound, so I'm getting rid of it. It always just seems like a little shrill to me, right? And as you might expect, you're getting 2 hydrogen for every 1 oxygen. And this guy, by the way, can be set to dump excess. So what'll happen is he'll just dump all his hydrogen in here, and then when this fills up, he will void any excess hydrogen, because right now the main thing we're working on is making oxygen for the purification chamber, okay? So you're making oxygen, and I can have your purification chamber config such that we'll figure out items in a minute, but for gases, it's just going to be input on any side, right? So it doesn't matter. So I just need you, Mr. Tank, you also get a side config, okay, for gases. And what I'm going to say here is that all this goes away. I can make the right side here be an output with eject on, and then he'll fill up the oxygen and keep it stocked. So now let's do a quick test, especially because I need raw iron, of this little setup, right? If I threw raw iron in here, right, and we did a side config to output here, we're going to wind up inputting from the left, right? And then your side config will be similar, right? Input, output. And then your side config will be similar, input, output, okay? And let's make sure that your output is auto-ejecting, right? So now we're getting iron clumps. And then you're getting dirty iron, okay? Should I have it smelt? Why not, right? Yeah, let's get it to smelt. Let's do that. Energized smelter is the machine we're going to want. Boom, boom, boom. Easy peasy. Thank you. Boop, boop. And your side config, same deal. You're going to auto-eject on, and you will also be that and that. And I don't love some of the mechanism noises still, energized smelter being one of them, right? You know, we can also just kind of lower some of them. That doesn't seem much lower, does it? Oh, probably because Crusher is the one. There we go. Yeah, we'll make them a little less loud. I like the best mod. Just saying. Dyer, what's your favorite mod? People ask me all the time. I don't like to play favorites, but that's a good one. Cool. And then you can output to like here if you want, right? You could just be, hey, on this side, you're going to be extracting. Let's make it orange, right? I'll start. I don't think it super matters what color we use, right? And then you can insert on orange, and you can boop boop, and then you should be getting that. Okay. And let's make sure that you're going like pretty fast. We'll speed it up as needed. But that's, you know, ore processing 101. And now if we popped outside and we got an import bus, in theory this should be able to pull in, right? Because that's how this whole setup is supposed to work, right? So if I threw an import bus here with some acceleration cards to make it super fast, anything that's in that chest inside there should make its way into the thing, right? So we have 27 iron. We pop back in. You should be emptying out. Isn't that how you're supposed to work, Aperture? Put it on the right side, right? Yeah, I think so. Is that the right side? Nope, that's the wrong side. Well, there's your problem. So you... I reversed this. So can I rotate you? Not with that. If I break him, that would be green side there. That's pretty cool. Wonder if I can get him to be green side. I'd like it to be green side, but with white on top. Or red on top, I think, right? There's got to be like a method to this madness, but I'm failing to detect it. All right, so green with red in front. That would be fine, okay? So now if we look at how much iron we have, 27. If I were to import bus you with some speed upgrades, you should be bumping up now. There we go, 41. Nice. Because it's going to... And I guess that's fine. I can do that. That puts me on the top. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So now anything that lands in this chest gets sucked into the A system. And that should be cool, right? And we'll do the tier upgrades and the speed upgrades for everything in a moment. I'm just kind of like getting the basics in place, right? So now we've got ore doubling. If you wanted to stop here, you could. And we could use logistical transporters if we wanted to for the item transport. Yeah, Yeah, that can transport items, right? Like, let's try that out. Instead of you, I know blasphemy, not using laser IO, but also trying to show you other ways to do things, right? We'll use these guys for something later. That might be cool. So I shouldn't even need to do anything here, because if I set you to auto output, it should dump right into there. Cool. So he'll auto output into the pipe and send it right there. That works for me. I'm cool with that. So there's multiple tiers of these, by the way. If you need them to extract from a machine that doesn't auto output from Mekanism, you're going to want the thingy that's like a wrench. That I forget the name of it. It's a thingy, though. It's a thingy that I'll know by sight when I see it. Unless I don't see it, which is very, very possible. It happens a lot. The configurator, isn't that what it's called? Oh, did they? Oh, they changed the... Yeah, they changed the appearance of it a little bit. So you're going to need an energy tablet for this. And then you make your configurator. And there you go. And that thing gets charged up with power. Though I don't know why. I've never seen why it needs power. But this will let you change this to, like, push, pull, disconnect, that kind of thing. You only need a normal connection because the machine can push into the piping for you. But if this was like a chest that couldn't automatically push for you, you would switch this to pull mode, and it would pull items out of the chest and put it into this one. And then there's different tiers of it. So Mekanism has cables for all things. They have cables for energy. They have, this is fluids. Mechanical pipes is fluids. See, if you hold shift, it says fluids, and this says energy. These ones here, pressurized tubes, are for gases, which are unique to Mekanism. And then finally, there's items down here, and that's pretty cool. And then there's also thermodynamic conductors, which are cool. They transfer heat, which is also a Mekanism-specific thing. I don't know if Pneumaticraft, which also has a heat system, recognizes them. It may or may not. I have no idea. So hey, that's pretty cool, right? Basics up and running. I like it. So now let's get the next one. So for the next one, right, we're going to need iron shards. That's going to need the chemical injection chamber with hydrogen chloride. So if we put that in there, it's going to make shards, which then can be purified and go from there, right? So that's what we're going to need. So U and control click, and that should be fine. And then we're also going to need a purification chamber to make the chemical injection chamber. Fair? So that guy's all crafted up. And now this guy gets all crafted up. And that should be good. Okay, so the chemical injection chamber needs hydrogen chloride. Okay, now before we do anything here, let's make sure the side config here is such that it's not doing anything to the front of these, right? I don't want anything happening in the front. I just want you to input from here for now. Good deal. So hydrogen chloride needs chlorine and hydrogen. Luckily, we've got hydrogen. Look at that. So we're already set for hydrogen chloride. That is cool. So the next thing we're going to need then is chlorine. And for chlorine, we're going to need an electrolytic separator of brine. And brine is made in a thermal evaporation chamber from water. Okay, so we only need one of these. Is that right? We only need one because we need brine. You can also reprocess brine into liquid lithium, and that's going to be used for an important thing later on. It turns into lithium, which then turns into lithium dust, and that's how you get some really good energy storage devices in Mekanism, but we're not going to need to do that. So let's get the thermal doohickey. I'm going to get that chamber ready to go. So let's go set up the recipes for that. So for him, thermal evaporation chamber, there's 3 blocks that we need to know how to craft. There's this dude, which is the valve, which is going to let fluids in and out. There's this dude, which is the controller, which is going to like be the brains of the multi-block that we're about to build. And this dude are the individual blocks. Easy and peasy. And or peasy? I don't know. So now we ask for thermals. I want 2 valves. I want 1 controller. And I'm going to get like 50. We need more iron. I have more iron. And only because I want it to be a little bit faster, I'm just going to run you through here real quick. Because... Cool. Getting there. That should be fine. Again with the Enderman, who thinks he's allowed near my base. Very adorable, Mr. Enderman. Okay. So now that we have more iron, because that would be faster than what I did. So let's try for 50 of these again. Bing, bang, boom. Right? I just want 50 blocks. That is doable. Sweet. So you're just making the carbon now, and then you'll make all the stuff. So that should be good. We can head back into here. And we should be able to click on either face of this, right? The top will drop me in from the roof. That's pretty cool. Or the front will drop me in right here. I like that. That's perfect, actually. I really think that's good. So now we can start building this bad boy. So let's build him like... I'm trying to think where I probably want him to live. What I'm thinking is I move this dude, because he's kind of stuck in a weird place. What we can have instead is we can have the thermal evaporation block chamber thing, which I remember correctly is 1, 2... Is it 4? I'm trying to remember exactly how it lays out, but I think it's 4. It's a pretty big block. Yeah. But I think then... Let's see if I'm remembering this correctly. This is going to be different than how I normally build it, but I think it might work. What if we had a valve? I might want one more valve. Shouldn't be a problem. Could I do that? Would that be a valid... Pretty sure it's 2x2 internal, right? Isn't that how we build these things? Hey, yeah, look, it worked. Hooray! Alright, sweet. So these guys are pretty straightforward. So let's do this. Let's do, if I put you here, and I put you here, on the down, you're going to extract that fluid, but then on the east, you're going to insert on blue as well. And while we're at it on that down side, let's make you round robin. Okay, so now if I bind you to you, you should be taking turns inserting water into here and here. And if that's not fast enough, all I got to do is add overclockers and we'll be fine. Okay. And then for the fluid output, we can do the brine. Now, should I move this over one and have the brine right here? I'm going to say yes. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to, for compactness, I'm going to do exactly that. So remove you. Remove you. Technically, I probably don't need 2 valves. I could probably input and export from the same valve, but that's okay. Right? So down will be the extract, east will be the insert, and then bind you to, and we're cool again, right? So now you're going to start filling back up with water, and you're also going to be filling up with water. Sweet. Now, this guy is going to extract a fluid, right? And it's going to be brine, and that's going to be you. And so we're going to make that on the south side be an extract on the yellow channel, right? Brine is yellow, so let's make it yellow. Easy peasy, cool, right? And what side did I put you on? South, right? Yes. Why you no laser? Oh, I put you on south. You're supposed to be east. There you go. Yeah, makes sense. There we are. Brain, please. Now we need heat for this to work. So there's a heater from Mekanism, a resistive heater, which is pretty cool. You give it power and it generates heat, which Mekanism uses for a few things. In this case, we're using the heat to turn water into brine. Okay? So you're going to sit like this, but I'm going to rotate you, and then you're going to need some form of power coming in. So what I might do is just run you down here. That seems cool. Mekanism, where's your piping? Give me like some more of these. You're going to make a bunch of that, you're going to make a bunch of that, and then we're going to be cool. Okay, So now this thing has a configuration. You basically tell it how much RF to have, and it will, the higher the RF, the more heat it's going to generate, and the more heat it generates, the faster it will turn water into brine. Cool? So we'll start with that, and it takes a minute for the heat to heat up, so it's not like instant. So, you know, set your setting and then adjust from there, right? Like I might start you at 80, to be honest with you, and we'll see if that's fast enough for what we need. So we're going to need another electrolytic separator now, right? So that's going to be one of you. And luckily we can auto-craft all the stuff that goes into that. Very quickly, by the way, which I love. Okay. And then effectively, right, we want to, right here, you're going to need power. And so remind me, we want hydrogen chloride. That's going to be chlorine. I should move this over then, right? Because we want, that's going to be made in a chemical infuser that we're going to need in a minute. So let's start with the electrolytic separator here. Okay, so that'll be this. Okay. And then you will receive the brine, and we'll do the same thing that we did on the other one. So items we're not doing anything with. Gases we're going to turn off. But yeah, you'll do when we make chlorine, it's sodium on the left, chlorine on the right. So yes, output 1 on left, output 2 on right. That's going to make the chlorine. I'm going to assume that we don't need chlorine for anything else. So I'm going to place my chemical infuser right next to that bad boy. And that should be fine, right? 1, 2, and then chemical infuser, good to go. So the chlorine will wind up going straight into there. And then technically we don't need that block. Sweet. Okay, so you will push your chlorine directly into the cyan. We'll store the other stuff that we're getting from the brine, the sodium. I don't know if we need it for anything, but I'll throw it in the tank. Right? Tank. And you will be set to dumping excess. And then for fluids, you can input on the back is fine, right? So then what I'll do is I will have a... so if I set you to blue, let's make you blue, right? Not red. That's cool, right? And then if I wanted to, I could make you yellow. Ah, that's neat. I don't know if we want these to be separate networks or not. We're gonna find out. Hey, what did you just do? My inventory was desynced. Right? So bind these two, he turns yellow, and then he's gonna insert on yellow. There's yellow. Cool. So now he's making brine, he's turning it into sodium and chlorine, and then the chlorine is coming here, and check this out. This machine happens to be great. So I don't need to worry about items for a moment, but for gases, we're going to input 1 on the left, input 2 is going to come in from the back. Okay? And then output will probably be on the right. Okay? So if I set you, Mr. Hydrogen, to output to here, now we're pushing the hydrogen that's here into this machine, and it's hydrogen plus chlorine equals hydrogen chloride. How cool is that? Right? Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. And then we can pipe that if we want from Mekanism. These are gas pipes. Nope, nope. Those are fluid pipes. We want tubes. Tubes is what they're called? Yeah, they're there. Pressurized tubes. Okay. Let's make sure that your sidedness is none, so that when I place this here... Yeah, no, you weren't supposed to do that. Your sidedness is none. You're not supposed to do that. Well, he's at least not pushing it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say you, but then I'm going to use this guy to make sure he doesn't get connected to anything. Okay, so empty. This thing, I think, means he's empty now. And then let's make sure that your sidedness for gases, I'm going to turn you off for a sec. You're going to go here. There you go. And now your sidedness for gases can be output. Cool. So now your hydrogen chloride is going into here. Sweet. Now we can take raw iron, right? We get one of them. How many do you need for... That's for hydrogen chloride. 3 becomes 8, right? So if I put 3 raw iron in here, he's working. And he's going to make 8 iron shards, which will be auto-ejected into here, which will then make that, make that, make that, and make that. And that'll be a whole bunch of iron for us. Cool? All right. So now we have the next tier. Now the last one's going to be more complicated. So let's wrap up here. We'll come back next episode and get the last bit of automation going. And that's going to be the sulfuric acid piece. For now, Del20 sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.